Hello again, Internet. So, in the last video, we talked about how to modify an already existing character, how to change the battle graphic, how to change the character graphic for the overworld map, and what you needed to do if you wanted to change the name. What we're going to do now, let's just go ahead and go back to something cooler. This guy, and let's leave the Joe Sprite. So what we're going to do now in this video is how to add characters. We're going to go over classes and we'll look at enemies. These are, I think, the things that change the most with the Kread-EX script. Skills are mostly the same with a few exceptions. We'll leave that for the third video. That's going to be a little bit more complex. Items are the same, weapons are the same, and armor is the same. Troops might be a bit tricky, so we'll go over troops as well in the third video. States are the same as you would with any normal game. Animation, style set, common events, and system pretty much work in the same way. So let's just go ahead and make a new character, and you can do this as many times as you want. Alright, so here you have the empty window for the new character. Again, if you want to call your character, let's go with Eric. No, that's the name of the other hero. You know what? I'm reading David Eddings right now, so let's go with Garion. And let's say that you want to make Garion a fighter. You can just make him whatever you want. And you set the HP and the SP and dexterity and whatever as you normally would if you were making a character. You choose your character graphic. Let's just go ahead and get a custom one, a custom character graphic. Let me find one from over here, one of the ones that I've made. Graphic, characters. This one should work. Alright. So we go over to your games folder, which I can't find for whatever reason. I'll just minimize everything. We go into your games folder, graphics, and characters. You put your custom character in there. Let's just call it whatever. Place a character in there, and a character graphic. We used this image. I gave it that name to basically demonstrate that you don't need to give your character graphic a specific name. This graphic style, by the way, is called Mac style. It's based on the loose leaf generator. Let me go ahead and just kind of take you to the loose leaf generator. Loose leaf generator. Right, you just click on the GeoCities website, and this is the template that I used to create that guy. Doesn't matter. We use a battle graphic. I actually have a battle graphic for him as well, so let me just go ahead and find that. It should be around here. Alright. I don't know why I keep closing this folder. So it should be in graphics, battlers. We just place our new graphic there, which I just gave a random name to again show that the battler graphic doesn't really need to have any name. I mean, of course, if you want to do good game design, you want to keep everything consistent. You want to have the battler sprite have the same name as the character graphic, have the same name as the battle status window, here in pictures, as the battle phase and the status window. So if you wanted to make this guy who we're calling Garion, you would call this Garion Battler. You would call this Garion Map. Then here you would need a status window Garion and a battle phase Garion. So let's go ahead and make those now. Open paint.net. let's just take this one as base, copy and paste, and then we rename to Garian. We rename here to Garian. We put that stuff in our image editor, which for some reason I have in the other monitor, so let's just move that here. We open that in our image editor, and now we go ahead and find the battler. We'll make a simple one like we did for Joe. Just take you, open. All we need to do here is just select one of these. I like this post better, so we'll just go ahead and use this one. Let's just go ahead and adjustments, that's just effects, blur, motion blur, whatever. And then this one, effects, distort, crystallize, that'll do. Edit, paste into a new layer, keep the canvas size there. Here's like edit, paste into a new layer, keep the canvas size from over there. Put the layers together, then just save and save. And now here we have our status window and battle phase images that we will use here in the picture section for the battle system to call on when it looks for stuff related to Garian, right? So that should do it for making a new character. He's a fighter. Let's give him some weapons, bronze sword, bronze shield, whatever. Who cares? And so let's just replace Ophelia here with our new character Garian. Click on OK. Save. And when we go into the battle, we have our edited character and our original character with the corresponding battle and window images. And so here's the blast and whatever. Now let's go ahead and look at how to make an enemy. Now you can't just use one of the pre-existing ones without any changes. The reason being that if you do, the system by default reads the image as if it were one of the battlers. So let's just go ahead and change this fight. Let's put the ghost over there because that one's kind of easy. Oh, we don't have the ghost, so basilisk, that'll do. So the basilisk image, go up here, it's basically this. It's just one image. If you look at the palm, it has the 11 rows, 10 or 11 rows, with 4 columns. This is just one picture. So when you do that, when you have just one enemy, and you don't change anything in the script, what you'll get is something like this thing down here. This is basically the system dividing up the basilisk image into 4 columns and 11 rows, and then basically saying, alright, the battle position should be somewhere around here, and that's why you see the flappy thing around here in the battle. So what you want to do is you want to give your enemy one of these battle sprites. Let's go ahead and use this one. I think it looks cool, but whatever, that's me. And now that we've changed the basilisk battle sprite into something that actually has 11 rows, you'll see the character down there. Of course, you may want to place him in a better position, and you do that here in troops, basilisk. Right. Oh, well, of course, because I'm looking at that. So basilisk, you want to put them a little bit more towards the back. Okay, and now when we go into battle, we'll see. your actual enemy characters in the back, just kind of standing there because those are archers, but let's just wait for their turns. Oh, come on, man, don't die. Alright. Really? Defense? Alright, so we'll just defend. Guard, 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 and it'll be his turn, and there you have the attack. Now, if you saw some sort of weird movement, it's because the default settings in the script for enemy movement has different orders than from characters. The assumption is that your enemy sheets look something like this, where you basically have the same pose for pretty much everything. Let's go ahead and look at that more closely here. Right, see, you have pretty much the same pose for most of the actions, like pose, 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 and then just looking one way or the other. But we'll be looking at what each of those poses are compared to the character ones in a little bit. Let's see, how are we doing on time? I don't want to go over 20 minutes for any video. Yeah, we still have some time. So let's see. We have made a new character. We have edited an enemy. Let's go ahead and make a new enemy. We'll use this spot 45. Process pretty much the same. You just give it a name, whatever. Then you use a battle graphic. Let's go ahead and use this one because I haven't seen it in action yet. It's another recolor from one of Dulmage's original sprites, and then you just play with the stats and you're good to go. You of course would need to put that enemy in a troop, so let's just go ahead and change the maximum troop number and put a whatever next to the basilisk that we've just edited. Okay, and then here in the game we're going to edit this event to have us fight the newly created team, which I forgot to mention, so which I forgot to name, so let me go ahead and go back and name it. Two dudes. And now when we run the game, we run the battle, you see that there was no error. The reason being that when there's an enemy, the system defaults its face image to enemy. So if you want to give each of them an individual one, you probably can do it. We'll look at the script and we'll figure out how to do that, but I kind of like the feeling of not knowing which one's gonna hit you first, having to figure it out. I guess to me it adds an extra layer of strategy to what little strategy there can be in a turn-based game, even though this one is really complex, if I'm being honest about it, especially when you have enemies with higher HP. You need to think about what they can do versus when you should unleash your Ravitail spell, which is incredibly powerful, versus whether you can do the Harmo sync or not. So let's just go ahead and finish this battle, or at least play with it. This would be the Harmo skill, by the way. So here we're attacking Mr. Whatever, and that was easy. Right, and then the power break, and then just some other skill, and actually just defend. And let's go ahead and unleash the Ravitail skill. Activate Song Magic, and you'll see a large number of hits. That number of hits can also be defined within the script itself. That's something that we'll look at in a little bit. Alright, so that's how you create a new enemy. Alright, let's see, armors, items, the same. Classes. If you want to rename any of the classes, you can do that. If you want to create new classes, that's fine. That works just like the normal battle system, so let's just call this class whatever, and then let's rename Knight to Onion, because why not? Let's go ahead and leave Joe as Onion, and then let's give our main guy the whatever. Let's take away the comma just in case. I've never used a comma. I don't know if it might give us a syntax error. And then you try that out. So by and large, character classes doesn't really matter, right? So let's go ahead and flee. So you have the onion, you have the random string of characters, you have the fighter, and you have the Raven-tail. This one, when you're changing this character class, might give you a bit of a problem because the system actually looks for the Raven-tail class when it's defining certain skills. So if you rename Raven-tail to, let's say, Wizard, right? Because I'm reading Eddings right now. It's like Bulgarian, it's just some wizard. So we call it Wizard, and then we leave it at that, and then we hope it works, but it really won't. When we go into the battle, it'll just freeze up like that. Well, it won't freeze up, but you'll see that the character in the back, the Raven-tail, that's supposed to be casting magic, isn't casting anything. You'll just get her turn, and we'll have the Raven-tail magic. You try to cast it, and it'll just automatically cast Blast and do 0 damage. Why will it do 0 damage? If you remember, in the battle system, let's go ahead and call her Raven-tail. In the standard battle system, what the system does is it checks to see if you have a Raven-tail in your group. Did I make a typo? Right, let's go ahead and try to fix that. Weird. Alright, let's just go ahead and look in the script how the typo, what the typo is or whatever. Right, so Rava with an A tail. Alright, so Raven-tail. Alright, so you do need to be careful with how you write categories, and now it should work. It goes back to Raven-tail. So what the system does is, first it checks to see if you have a Raven-tail in your party. If it does, then it will have the Raven-tail go first. You can flee, song magic, activate song, whatever. You can't really activate a song because you haven't cast anything, so you need to select the song first. Let's just go ahead and do Blast again. We'll go into Healing Wave later. And this bar here is what determines how powerful your spell will be. So if you cast your spell at 450%, it's going to do less damage than it would if you cast it at 3,000-4,000%. Let's go ahead and wait until the next round. Here are the enemies, and let's just unleash it when it gets to 1,000. That flash that you just saw is a spell evolving. You can decide in the script, you can assign what your spells will evolve into, and you can make new spells, etc. 1,000, there you go. Activate song. Alright, so that's Raven-tail calculation, and that's why when we changed it into Wizard or whatever else you want to change it to, the spell did no damage. So if you want to change the class, you need to change everything in the script. That's something that we'll have to go into in the next video, because we're almost at 20 minutes. So stop.